Hi, today I'm going to show you how to use a Google site to create your portfolio. So first thing to note is that if you're going to use a Google site to create your portfolio, in order to get the new Google site, which is kind of a little less confusing and has some better graphics, you want to make sure that you're using either Chrome as your browser or Firefox. So either Chrome or this one down here, Firefox. If you happen to be using Internet Explorer, it'll default you to the old sites, which I will not cover today. Okay, so in Chrome, I'm going to just search for Google Sites. And if I'm not signed in, it's going to ask me which account I want to use. So if I was doing this with students, I would have them make sure they're using their school Google account. And you'll have to enter your password. And I can kind of tell that this is going to an old site already. See how it's kind of white? So right here, we want to click on New Google Sites. And this is what it should look like. So it's a lot cleaner feeling. And so if you revert back to the other one, that's here. If you want to get to the new one, that's here. We are going to work in the new Google Sites. So to start a new site, I'm going to click on this plus sign. Right away, I can start adding some titles. I would have a student name their site using their first and last name. So I'll just say student name here. And if you're using this for, let's say, English or art, you can have it called the class, depending on what you want to have them use it for. I'll just say Marissa's portfolio because I'll put a bunch of stuff in there. And I want that to be one word, not jump down, so I can just, pretty simple, grab that blue stretch tool right here and it'll allow me to change that. I can also change how it's aligned on the page. I could make this text a link if I wanted to. That's that little symbol. And I can also say what type of heading it's going to be. This is my title, so I want it nice and big. And here I am going to put a picture, and I want the picture to be pretty big, so I'm going to leave all that room. And now I'm going to click on Change Image. So I'm going to select something that I like. Since this is a Google site, everything can be pulled in from the Google Drive. So if I was doing this with students, I would encourage them to go ahead and have their Drive kind of updated. So I'm going to go over here. And maybe they already have a folder for your class. And if not, you could have them make a folder. But I've got some different things that I want to put in here. And I can also upload if I need to. So I'll go back to this tab. So I'm going to select image. These are some kind of provided images that I can use, but I can also just grab my own. I could search. So let's say these are all the ones I could use, but I've got some that I want in my drive. So they're in a folder. I'm going to find my folder. And I'll add this as my background. Okay. So now I'm ready. I could add some text here. So let's see. And I would have students add just a little bio, kind of telling the purpose of the portfolio. Just to showcase my work. They can add as much as or as little as you want to have them add. They could change this to be a subtitle or bigger font. And I want it centered, and then we'll just leave that there. This little palette I can use just to have different kind of styles. And speaking of styles, let's jump over to themes. So when you click on the themes, you can choose different themes that'll apply to the entire site. So I am going to select, there's not very many, but it actually helps with my decision making. I'll select that one. Okay. And notice there's not a save button here. It's going to save automatically. I'm going to go back to, I'm going to pick a different color. There we go. Okay. So I'm still on this page and I haven't added any other pages. But what I could do is I could add a divider, and I'll show you what that does. It's just a yellow bar. If I don't want that, I can trash it. Click on the little trash icon. I can insert anything from my drive. So if I click here, it's going to open up my drive. So let's say I wanted a little Florence logo. I'll click on that and say insert. I've got some little tools I can use to drag here if I wanted to. And my cropping is there. I can have this link. So let's say I want to link that back to the web page. I'll click on here and enter my link. There we go. So you could have, a couple of pictures maybe linked to some different things that the students might want to showcase. I can add videos, a calendar, a map, all kinds of stuff from my Google Apps for Education. But let's go ahead and jump over to Pages. So I'm going to show you guys how to organize the pages. So let's say I was doing one for art. Put in it done, and then I'm going to keep adding. And I'll say one for English. And I'm going to add another one for science. So all these pages could be related to different classes, or if the students just doing it for your class, maybe different assignments. So like in art, you could have a 3D, a 2D, mixed media, graphite, things like that. For English, you could have short writings, creative writings, expository text, things like that. Science, different projects throughout the year, however you guys want to organize it, or have the students organize it. But you'll see that you're getting your pages up here. So they're automatically appearing. I can click on each one already. So when I click on each page, this is the one I'm working on. So if I wanted to go to art and insert some images, so now I'm going to go over to images. I'm going to find a bunch of images to put in there. And remember, I would have organized this before I started. Open up my drive. I'll grab, and I'm going to hold Control to select multiple and hit select. Quickly adding some images. And when we get back, I will show you how to add some text.